are watching TradioV, radio in TV.
Good morning. Welcome, viewers. I'm Janet Richmond, and this is the Higher Self Voice, my show. And I have a little bit of news. Today is actually going to be my last show. Due to some unexpected events, I'm going through some shifts and changes, and you know that's the way what life does to us all. And I've been so lucky because my already planned guest, before I knew it was going to be my last show, is Eddie Connor. Now, I don't know if you know of Eddie Connor. He is a wonderful person. He's also a medium, a soul intuitive. He's an author. He's a radio show host in his own right. And actually, I met him as a guest on his show, Truth Be Told, on UBN, which he co-hosts with Tony Sweet. It was so fun and so perfect, really. I enjoyed myself so much that he was kind of a role model for me, and I decided, hey, maybe I'm going to try to do a show of my own. And so this is partly the result of that interaction. And when I reached out to him to be a guest, he agreed. So thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Janet.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Oh, my gosh. Okay, now, one of the things I wanted to ask, I didn't mention, you actually do private readings, too. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I wanted to ask is that I very calmly said you're a soul intuitive.
Yes.
And I thought the viewers might really want to know what that is exactly.
That's such a good question. My clients actually gave me that name.
Oh, they did?
They did. They're like, when they would get a reading, they would say, you're not like because I'm not normal. You're not a normal psychic, and you're not a normal medium. And they started calling me a soul intuitive. They're like, you're reading my soul. And it felt right. And so been going with it ever since. But it's the clients who came up with that.
Well, it's so interesting because I say for my healing sessions, I call it a soul scan.
Yes.
Because I'm going into the soul and reading what the issues are at the soul level. And I'm guessing that's sort of what you do. Is that correct?
It is. And like I'll go in during a reading. I always start every reading with an opening prayer because it helps me set the tone. And I feel like it makes the client feel good too. And so it establishes the environment, creates kind of a little vortex, if you will. And then I never know where they are going to go. And so when I tune in to someone, and I'm dying to ask you how you do it too.
Well, I'm going to tell you, but I keep going. I'm so interested.
Whenever I tune into them, their spirit guides, angels, higher self, soul energy, whatever you want to call it. I think the non-physical, pure positive energy part is basically what I'm tuning into. And you can go to past lives. They'll take you sometimes to what they had for breakfast or a loved one in the spirit world. And I just receive it as images first because I'm predominantly a seer and a hearer. So I'll hear and see things in their holographic energy field or whatever. You know the words better than I do.
You know what? The terms don't matter. I think I know what you mean, and I'm sure the viewers do. So.
And then I feel things. I'll know or feel things. And my friends laugh and say that I am a stadium-sized psychic, but I'm only a living room-sized medium because I'm still sort of trying to acquiesce to the dead people.
Okay.
I don't think they have a boycott against me in the spirit world, but they sort of sit back like, JG, that's all they'll give me for something.
Oh.
As opposed to, her name is Gloria, she loves daisies, and blah, blah, blah. It's weird.
Well, I just want to let the viewers know that he's going to do a short thing on me, so you'll get to see him in action.
Wow.
I really have heard so many wonderful things about him, so I want the
No
viewers.
pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Now, I had to do something on his show, too, so I know that pressure.
But that's the first time I ever got to see you do what you do.
Oh,
and she did it for
Tony.
And I was sitting there, and I'm like watching the energy going back and forth. And by the way, that's fun. As an intuitive, getting to watch you work with the higher self and his higher self. And I'm just literally you're here, he's there, and I'm right in the middle getting to watch the energy.
Oh, that is interesting.
It is, because you start to see things and you feel things, and I didn't want to write down notes because, you were doing your magic on Tony.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Also, you're an author, and I would like you to, can you hold up just so that the camera can see them? And
Absolutely. Let's see, like
talk
this?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's this camera here,
Okay.
and I think,
And so this is a Southern Psychic's Guide to Fixing Your Big Butt Syndrome.
okay, you have to explain that. It's such a cute title. I know what it means because I read the little blurb on the back, but tell the viewers.
The big butt syndrome, I learned about it whenever I was doing readings for people. And what I noticed, everybody wants to talk about love, money, or career. And they'll talk about love. They'll say, I really want love, but I don't want another jerk. Or I need more money, but I don't know where I'm going to get it. And
I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes, it's the belief systems we have that hold us back.
And it's like the subconscious piece.
Yes, it
They
is.
don't even know they're doing it. And what they're doing is buttredicting their energy for love.
That's such a cute word. I
Yeah.
saw that. Buttredicting.
And-
Remember it. You heard it, maybe not first, but you've heard it here. Buttredicting.
But they'll talk about, I want money, but I don't know where I'm going to get it. So the universe, as you know, says yes to money and yes to not getting it at the same time. So the energy pulls like this, and then you get stuck in the rut of the big butt syndrome.
I love that title.
Yeah.
I love that title.
So it's a fun acronym for believing unnecessary thoughts.
Oh,
Because we just
but it's an acronym. I didn't
Yes.
realize that. Believing
necessary
unnecessary thoughts.
thoughts.
Oh, you're just so creative. I mean, wow.
It's
Wow.
a deficit sometimes.
Well, honestly, you absolutely are reflecting and talking about it, just the similar things that I experience.
Yeah.
I don't have that clever kind of, one-liner, that sound bite that you have, but it's really, really right along the same line. And what's about the other book?
The other book is called How to Get Your Travel Freak On. And freak is short for frequency. And it's while engaging your heart, your mind, and your soul. And we put it together for the Peru trip. I take people to Peru about every 4 years, and we're going back next May. And a lot of people, for some reason, get all stressed out before they leave on a trip, and the energy of stress ends up accompanying you on the trip. So my favorite question to ask people is, what's going to arrive in Peru first? Your thoughts and your feelings and your frequencies about it, or your body? And so, of course, your thoughts, feelings, and frequencies arrive there first. So when your body walks into it, if you're in a butt-addicted place, you're going to get slammed. If you're in a high-frequency place, if you've lined your energy up, if you're in tune with your heart, if you're grounded in your gut brain, then that energy meets you there so that you're at the right place at the right time with the right people in a way where you actually get to be in joy as a result, which is high frequency. And again, you keep attracting more high frequency things. So How to
Ooh.
Get Your Travel Freak On is about that.
And where can people get that?
They're
Or
going to be
either one or both.
They can get it online at Amazon. Honestly, they'll have to Google it because I'm rebuilding my shopping cart.
Well, they can go to Amazon. That
Yes,
works.
they go to Amazon.
And your website, your social media, let's just at least get that out there. I think they've already got it on there.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
EddieConnor.com, and there's the Facebook, Eddie Connor. Anyway,
Yeah, thank you.
you're so welcome. She was pointing, and I thought, oh, just 1 minute, but she was trying to get me to look up there.
Oh, that was sweet.
Anyway, yeah, very sweet.
So I'm dying to, when you're working with your clients, are you more of a seer, a feeler, a knower, a hearer? And what do you see when you're doing it?
Let me explain as best I can.
Okay.
When I first learned about the higher self work, the higher selves themselves gave us tools and techniques to pull in information from them, because they are coming not from the other side. They aren't beings that have laid aside the body like master teachers or spirit guides. They're actually aspects of yourself at a higher frequency. And they said it's more difficult. I don't know, some people probably can get it easily. For me, it was very difficult because you're used to communicating with an external source.
Yes.
So when you're talking to somebody, even though they've laid aside the body, they've said that it can be easier. But when you go into frequency, which means to actually move your conscious mind into a higher frequency level, they used to give us exercises like they'd say, envision yourself standing there and there's a escalator going up. So get on the escalator and start to feel and experience going up into the higher frequencies. And they gave us a lot of exercises, and I worked really hard. So what happens is, I'm very much like you. I call it the state of amalgamation. It's not exactly a prayer, but it's activating and focusing on the divine energies. And then I no longer have to use the escalator.
Yeah.
That image or that symbol, but it's a powerful one, and they used other ones too, like elevators and stuff. I mean, you could pick your own symbol, but I literally expand. It's almost as if I feel like my conscious mind is going past my body.
Yeah.
And so when I go up there, sometimes I get words, sometimes I'll get pictures. I do a lot of work with symbols. Sometimes I get if I have a question or there's something, I'll just get a download. And so I just kind of know stuff, and then if it's something, when I was researching my book, I would go in and I would say, okay, I want you to explain about will. I get a download when I'm out walking, and I come and I type out 20 pages. I mean, the download can be huge.
Yes.
So sometimes I get past lives. Sometimes I get other souls. I often get other souls. So there's a psychic element or intuitive element, and there's the expansion of the fifth dimensional frequency moving into that. It's a higher frequency level.
And for fifth dimension, can you describe the fifth dimension piece of it?
Yeah, sure. Well, if you think of the mineral kingdom as the first dimension,
Yes.
plants second, animals third.
Which I learned in your book, I just realized.
The human kingdom is the fourth dimension. This is according to the higher selves. All the humanities eventually graduate into the fifth dimension. It's the next stage of evolution. Evolution never ends, and the fifth dimension is only one step more. But it's hard to even imagine that step, but that's a very high frequency level. So the first three mineral, plant, and animal, they're on instinctive will, which is a divine will.
Okay.
The human kingdom is the only one on free will. When you graduate into the fifth dimension, it goes into divine will again. The three lower kingdoms, it's unconscious. It's done through the instincts. When you graduate into the fifth dimension, and you have many aspects that are fifth dimensional.
Right.
Yeah, that's another long story, but in any case, when you graduate, you consciously make the choice to go on divine will. But it doesn't mean you don't get choice. You certainly get choice there, but you're working in the service dimension and you're helping.
And is it easier to have that divine will and stay in the stream of pure positive energy in the fifth dimension than it is in this dimension, the physical dimension?
Yes, but you carry that fifth dimensional energy with you. It's with you all the time. It's not something external. And that's one of the harder things to really wrap your head around. And I remember just a couple years ago, I started really focusing on that fifth dimensional essence of myself. And that's when I just did a huge kind of expansion, because that's when I started to feel my consciousness expand. When I go into the amalgamation now, it's as if my physical boundary is not there anymore.
Wow. So would a fifth dimension attribute be like intuition?
Oh, yeah,
or
sure.
dreams, or
Yeah, it can come out. Your fifth dimensional aspects would be impressing you, would be communicating with you in whatever way they can get through. They can't trespass your free will. So you, at the conscious level, the mind level, we all have to decide to listen.
Yes.
And so they encourage all the time to go within and to listen. And so that's a big part of it.
So when you're out walking in nature, that's one of my favorite places to get downloaded, because your conscious mind is focused on the walking and you're looking around at the beautiful things, and it feels good to move. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like ideas start. So ideas would be a fifth dimensional attribute. Good ideas.
Well,
Not
I mean,
bad ones.
we all can get ideas from the conscious,
Yeah.
part of our mind. It's not, they come from everywhere. But what when I started to recognize that I was hearing higher self information was when I'd be something big in my, and this was a long time ago, something big would be going on in my life, and I'd be really struggling with how to deal with it and what are the answers, what's the solutions, how to go, what to do. And sometimes it was hours, days, weeks, depending on what it was.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I'd remember back then to ask the higher selves, and in would come a thing I never thought of ever before. Some solution, some answer, some insight, something, and I'm like, okay, I know that I'm getting something from deeper within or higher frequency, however you want to say it.
I love that.
And that's it. And then I just listen to that more and more, and now it's there for me a lot, all the time now.
I just have this impression that because you're so tuned in, tapped in, turned on to the stream of pure positive energy, I'm sure sometimes your clients are like, your life must be perfect. You must never have a problem or a negative emotion because you're so aware of the higher consciousness.
Well, I have to say that the neutralizing has really changed my life in so many ways. And I have gotten very good at, I'm just free of so much of that, some of the intense stuff. Things still happen, but for example, the other night I got this horrible pain here, and it was so bad I thought it could be a heart attack, but I never ever went into panic, and I just kept releasing and neutralizing, and it was radiating up my chest and into my jaw, and I'm thinking, so I contacted my son. He said he would come over. This was in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I get up at one point after an hour and a half, and never got panicked, never was afraid, nothing. I just kept working. I walked to the bathroom, and all of a sudden it came in. I knew what it was. It was something I'd had 20 or 25 years ago, and I went, oh my gosh, I bet it's that. And it was just a thing where I have a hiatal hernia, so my stomach, top of my stomach goes into the chest cavity, and you just manually push it down with a ball. That happened to me 20 or 25 years ago. I forgot about it. And he said, the doctor said, oh, you can either get surgery, or you can just use the ball and push it down. And so I said, okay, well, I'll try the ball thing. And I never had surgery, and I never had it again. And that's what it was. And I got a ball after I thought of it, and within 3 minutes, everything was gone.
That's nuts.
But I never got into panic.
Yeah.
When we get into those intense emotional states, whether it's rage or panic or fear. Or shame or guilt or anything like that, we lose the ability to tune in. But later the higher selves were kind of chastising me. They said, I said, well, why did I get it when I was walking to the bathroom? They said, because you went into a state of neutrality. You weren't working to figure it out. You weren't doing the work. You were open then. So our impress came through. We've been impressing you what it was from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
So they said you need to, when in a state of panic, in a state of where things are in the immediate now, go in right away. Because I'm really good at going in afterward. Well, what was that all about? And I'll get all the information. Here's whatever. And so they said, but you are going to need to get that, a new way to expand, get the practice to go when you're in the middle. It's hard when you're really in a lot of pain, but that's my belief system.
Right.
And they said, you can still do it. You can still go within.
So now your default pattern is usually going right into neutralize as opposed to going into an old fear pattern that was before the awareness of neutralizing.
Yes.
And that's what you help us get to.
Yes, the neutralizing really helped me not go into that panic state, because I've been working on fear for years. We have it. It's part of the human condition. Everybody has it, and many times in lives, and especially the difficult lives we've had.
I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is that a lot of people who come forth having a clear, strong connection to the fifth dimension have a really bumpy childhood, or kind of sometimes even abusive beginning?
Well, from the information that the higher selves have indicated, it's really my second book.
Yeah.
Many of us, especially on this planet right now, it's this huge opportunity to heal. And even though maybe we have some connection to that inner part, we've also had to go through, we're going through the human kingdom. We've taken on a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of this, that, and the other. We've made, many souls on the planet now have made the decision before being born to reincarnate, to heal and balance and learn things that they are ready to do. You can't, if you come in with a great life, guess what? You don't know.
Mm-mm.
The soul's way of talking to us, because it can't pick up the phone, is to choose situations and conditions that will activate the pattern that you need to heal.
And do some people come in with one pattern or two patterns, and other people just don't stop raising their hand when they're a soul and they get to the earth plane? It's like, you got 37.3 patterns to get through before you were 11 years old.
Yes, 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 yes.
Which one were you?
I'm all.
Yeah.
Do it all. And, and I'm thinking, what the heck was I thinking? I'm sure you're one of those all persons, too.
Yeah, it's some all in there.
There's a lot of us, especially on the planet right now, and we don't have time to talk about
Right.
it because it's just the show is limited. And let me see what time that we have. Okay, so we have a little bit more time. What should we talk about? Do you want to tell, because it's my last show,
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could share some stories about our work in some way to
Yes.
let the listeners know.
Yeah, so how we personally receive it.
Or what's happened with clients, or
Yes.
what's happened. Okay. Well, I'm going to start.
Okay, go.
Unless you have something right.
Ladies first. Of course, I'll knock you out of your chair and I'll be like, hi. No, I'm joking. So ladies first.
Well, I wanted to tell this story because this happened a couple, 3 years ago. I wrote my book choices, and then I started my meetup group in 2010. And I had a gentleman in the class who had one of these kind of situations, a really difficult time, and he came to my class. I was teaching a lot of material at the time that's in choices, and he bought the book, and he was really great at doing the work. He just took it on and his life started to change. And at one point, he gave the book to his mother. He said, "Mom, you have to read this." So a year or 2 or 3 goes by, and at some point, I hear from him, and he said, "My mother wants you to come to dinner." And I said, "Okay." And so I said, "That'd be fine." She had been meaning to read the book for 3 years, but never got to it until she had some intense thing going on. I don't know for sure, but I think it was anxiety attacks, chronic anxiety attacks. But based on what she said, that's what I think, but I don't know for sure. But something so scary, she thought she was going to die.
Oh.
So she picked up the book, and she started doing the exercises, and things really began to clear. Well, the next thing she told me was, right when all this was happening and she was really helping herself with a book, she goes to Costco. And she's hungry, so she gets a piece of pizza, and she sits down. It was lunchtime, so it was crowded. She sits across the table from someone, and she's so excited about the book and how much the techniques in there, the neutralizing, helping her. She starts telling the woman, a perfect stranger across the seat from her. And after about 3 or 4 minutes, the woman across the table goes, "What book is that? Who wrote it?" And so the mom tells her, and she says, "It's because of that book that I'm sitting here today. I haven't been able to get out of my apartment for 6 months. And I started working with this book a few weeks ago, or whatever it was, I don't know how long, and I'm here celebrating." I mean, lightning.
What are the chances?
I know. Lightning hitting twice. I mean, it was phenomenal. So I thought to share that now.
But it's remarkable how it works.
It is.
And I met you through Ro and Millie, and then I'm going to tell the story real quick. I'm up in Peru in May doing a tour, 22 people, someone I've never, ever met.
Okay.
We're in Cusco, and she's intuitive as well, and she's creative and artistic. And it's about the second or third day into the trip, and we're walking. I'm a little mother hen. Well, I'm a lot of things, but I'm a mother hen too. And I'm walking behind because we're going down these cobblestone sidewalks in beautiful Cusco, Peru. And I'm in the back making sure all the little chickens are lined up. And then here's Rachel beside of me, and she's just talking. She's like, "I know exactly who you need to have on your show. I'm reading her book right now." And then she goes into all of the great things about the book, and then she tells me about you. She says your name. And this is less than 6 weeks after Millie and Ro have said your name to me. And I actually had your
And
book.
it was actually my other book, right? Soul
Yeah.
Psychology.
Yes, she was talking about soul
I'm just
psychology.
going to hold it up
Yes,
so that
please.
people can see.
And she was
Award-winning, by the way.
Yeah, hey. Ooh, ooh. And
Best in New Age Mind, Body, Spirit.
I love that. And
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
It is.
And so I haven't read Soul Psychology yet, but she was reading that. I was reading Choices, and I stopped dead in my tracks. And I'm like, what are the chances that I'm on the opposite side of the world and someone is again telling me about you? And up until then, we had never met.
That's right. We hadn't met. I know. You called me. I was in the airport coming home from somewhere, and you said, you no, you sent me an email, I guess.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I know the world is so small, isn't it?
It is. You know what? One of the cool things that has started to happen with me a lot is I'll read for women who want to be pregnant and who aren't pregnant yet. And so the souls of the children, the babies to be, come in. And it's so funny because the parent usually sits there and goes, wait, it's a baby. It can't articulate. And I'm like, child, it's a soul.
Right.
And so they can run circles around us and then some. But the souls will come through and help the mother understand, and sometimes the father, what they're doing to block the process. And one soul came in, this woman, some people like to be focused on what is instead of what could be.
Yes.
She would say, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here. And the baby said, just tell her this. On the football field of life with this pregnancy, tell her she is literally on the 10-yard line getting ready to cross the goalpost. And she's that close to me coming through. And then to tell her just to take a hot bath and go to sleep. Not in the bathtub, that would be terrible. And then sure enough, that's what happened. 2 weeks later, she calls back. But the souls of the babies to be will tell you exactly what their personality is going to be, what their purpose is coming in.
Very cool.
What they're here to do, what they are as master teachers helping the parents with now, because they didn't do it when they came forth, and it was part of the soul agreement and the
Yes.
soul pod and council of elders. It's fascinating. And then they come back after the babies are here, and they go like, Lord, child, my 2-year-old is a dictator. You said she was gonna be. But they know how to work around it because they came out of 5 lifetimes as dictators, and now they're here just to play and be. But their go-to pattern is dictatorship. It's
Right.
so cool.
It is. And, I've worked with moms to be, wanting to be
Yes.
also more than once. And I had a recent one where this mom had tried in vitro several times, hadn't worked. And so she came to me, and I go in and I get a stream of past lives, but one in particular where the whole child rearing thing was so intense. She made a vow at the end of that life never to have children again. So we went in, we neutralized the vow and all the fear and all the struggle and the suffering she'd been through in that life and other lives. And sure enough, the next in vitro, she got pregnant. So she's due I guess in January. So I've had those kind of things too. They're so different. Every situation, as I'm sure you have is discovered and experienced, is different.
It is.
So
Have you noticed that a lot of spiritual, metaphysical, self-help New Agers that come in, often artists too, come in, the ultra creative, sensitive people, they seem to come in with vows of poverty. And so it's very few artists, healers, intuitives that make a living at what their purpose is, because they've taken vows of poverty in so many lifetimes as spiritual beings.
yes, the spiritual path in the past,
It was
we've
grueling.
put self-sacrifice on the pedestal, and I see that a lot, where they're not good people if they don't. They're not
Suffer.
spiritual if they don't suffer.
Martyr.
Yeah, exactly. And I've gotten a lot of information from the higher selves on that. Yeah. And
That's
so
a
a lot
work
of
job.
a lot of a lot of the neutralizing I do, the lot of dissolving I do of the energetic baggage and those belief systems that we bring in is around that for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, to open up the
Channels.
to open up the opportunities that they keep at bay.
Uh-huh. I like how you're like, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, the butt.
No, that's this.
Oh.
No, no, that's this.
Okay, I'm not up on the.
I'm the naughty psychic.
Well, okay, now I have another story. But you know what? You want to work on me a little bit? Then we can talk a little bit.
Are you scared?
No.
Okay,
you
good.
know I trust you completely implicitly.
Okay. So what I would do, I'm just going to do an abbreviated prayer. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
To launch in and just sort of set the tone for it and then see where they go from
Sure.
there. Okay? I'm like, ooh. Okay.
This is fun having somebody do it on me. My show, I'm always doing it on somebody else.
I know. I got to see some of your shows and you're just like, you're like doing your magic. I'm like, now you get, is it hard for you to receive?
Well, I'm getting a lot better at it.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this.
That's one of the things about spiritual people, isn't it? So good. This is your time. So let's do this. So we call on the light and love of the universe to come forth, surround, and look over the two of us. We call on Janet's angels, her guides, teachers, loved ones, and her higher self to be present and assist during this reading. And I'm asking that my guides are present as well. It is my intention to receive the highest, most positive information and inspiration easily, joyously, from non-physical to physical, in a format that promotes the essence of wellness and freedom, security and comfort, joy and spontaneity, prosperity and abundance, creativity and artistic expression, with spiritual journeys and entrepreneurial adventures in every area of Janet's body, mind, and spirit. I am asking Christ, God, Buddha, and Kuan Yin, Archangel Michael, Saint Germain, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, Metatron, and my spirit guide Benjamin to open my psychic seeing, hearing, sensing, knowing, and feeling abilities at this time so that I am completely of service. I'm setting my conscious mind and thoughts aside, attuning to my soul energy, and then acquiescing that vibration to Janet's heart and soul attributes, to her dreams, goals, and aspirations, and to clarity, purpose, knowing, and direction. It's my intention to receive predictions, futuristic events, names, initials, numbers, clarity, healing, and signposts along the way in a format that's accurate, detailed, concise, specific, empowering, appropriate, uplifting, and healing. We ask this in the name of God, Christ, Buddha, and the universe, and in the name of Janet's angels, guides, teachers, loved ones, and her higher self. And we ask that her intention for guidance and to have a fun reading and receive detailed information that is uplifting and healing come forth as her intention, and to have that intention amplified, illuminated, and elevated in every area of her body, mind, spirit, love, money, career, home, family, personal, spiritual, intuitive, instinctual, creative, artistic, and entrepreneurial growth, as well as her growth as a creative artistic savant, a facilitator of well-being, and an uplifter of love and light on the earth plane, sharing the fifth dimension and beyond with people. Amen. So the first things that always seem to come in with someone like you is, which I love to say, is you've got surprising money coming to you in two nice little lumps between now. The first one will get here before the end of October, top of November. The second one will be here by February. You're going to have a surprise trip coming up for you that you don't yet know about. You've got a couple of things moving down the pipe that you sort of have an idea about now, but you don't have it locked in, meaning you haven't bought the ticket. So these also feel like trips by air. Also, you don't know, I don't think you know about this just yet. I think you, in your consciousness, you have an idea that you would like to go to a Hawaii, a Costa Rica, someplace similar to that, to do a retreat of sorts. And also, not you'll do it by yourself, but then you also want to be on the board or the panel with other names that are big in the healing community. They're laughing. They're saying, also, you're getting ready to get swept up in that. There's going to be 3 different kinds of communities that are going to start pulling you to them. They're showing me. One is going to be what I'm going to call the past community frequency, the present, meaning where you're at now, and your beautiful exchange of energy and receivability as a healer and an uplifter and a nurturer and a server. And the next one is kind of like, hey, how you doing? Look at me. I finally made it. Okay. So the past part is where you would give this much and seem to get this much back. So you're finishing up with that now. And then the next one is, oh, I give this much and I get this much back. And sometimes I give this much and I feel like I get this much back. That's where they're saying you're at now. So you're going to draw an immediate community like that won't be pulling at you and then you're on your way to this new one where you do so little. For you, it feels like you do so little compared to what you've done in the past, and people just like give you a ticker tape parade down Madison Avenue or something like that. Also, you've got 2 contracts that will be coming to you. One of them will be presented as early as the end of this year. The other one will be presented between January and June, July, so the J months of 2017. And I know you're not asking about relationships. We're talking about career, but there is going to be somebody sort of going, how you doing? You pretty. Can I smell your hair? They're just going to kind of come out of nowhere, and you'll be like, I'm just trying to eat my cheesecake. So evidently you're at the Cheesecake Factory when this happens. I don't know. But you've got these 3 big levels of change. Now, you've already told me you're working on another book. It is there. It's loud and clear. And what's funny to me is I think it's the 3rd book that gets you the bigger audience, faster mainstream mass consciousness that could throw you on national morning shows, radio or television, AM or FM. And then that's when they come in and they want to know about the 2nd book you've done and the 1st book before that. So it'll be your 3rd baby that goes out and then starts bringing you national attention. And you know, as cute as you are and as well put together as you is, girl, I literally feel like there's going to be something that's going to change. You're styled perfectly. Your wardrobe is stunning. The way you carry yourself is immaculate. But there's some change coming up between now and the end of 2017 with a look. And it's like you're stepping, I'm going to call it star frequency. It's star frequency. Like you'll see a certain celebrity walk down the street, and it's not because they're wearing $10,000 worth of shoes and $50,000 worth of jacket. It's they carried their self. They can be in their sweatpants. You're getting ready to come into the owning the light in a bigger, brighter, bolder way than you ever have before. So it's going to cause you to pick things differently than you normally would. And I bet you probably love the space you're in, but you're going to move in a 1 to 3 year cycle. It feels like a home to me, and it feels like light is important to you, and it feels like it's sprawling, but it's not like, who's going to clean up this house? It's so big. It ain't sprawling that way. It could be 3 bedrooms, 2 for sure, 2 baths, lots of light, 1 level, and water features around it. So you got lots of change coming up, and somebody's going to give you a ring. So this could be a friendship ring. It could be a person coming in, but someone's going to give you a piece of jewelry, wrist or ring piece of jewelry, and that will come in inside of 1 month to 18 months. Did you ever wear a crown or a tiara for anything? Yeah. I see you wearing one. So that's going to be coming up for something significant, a birthday or anniversary, or a group of people will come in and put it on your head because I can see your picture taken with it. Yeah, it's a big celebration of sorts.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like chin on the ground. Wow, this sounds very exciting.
Yeah, I should have told you the very first things that start coming through are just the basic things.
Right.
Just sort of neutral.
Get you started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know why they kept showing me something with a cupcake with you. I know that sounds nuts, but something with a cupcake and something with oatmeal. But those two don't make a bit of sense, but they pop up. You know what I mean? Do you have any questions?
No, not. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, I'm excited. I mean,
Yeah.
Career expansion, contracts, money, moving, man in my life.
Television.
Television.
Because you know what they said? They just said that people like you who follow your heart, whether you have a pot to piss in or not, meaning it's just who we are, whether we have anything or not, the authentic star frequency on the earth plane is when you are doing what you're born to do and you still love it after all of these years. I've done readings 25 years. I still love it every time I do it, and my energy expands. Of course, it then spreads out into things like books and lectures and meetups and symposiums and getting to do more of this. But what ends up happening is a real star on the earth plane is one that's following their purpose, living their purpose, sharing their purpose unconditionally, And then what it often leads to is a fan base where there are people who want to pull at you organically. They want a piece of what it is you've come into your power with. And that's what real star frequency is on the earth plane.
Well, a lot of what you said makes sense to me. The whole thing about the third book is going to sort of be the key.
Yes.
I thought that, as I mentioned to you earlier, I started that when I first got the rights to Joan Culpepper's material. That was what I started with, and then I shifted. Anyway, I've always thought that was one of the key books, but I guess I had to be ready.
Yes.
I started with a self-help because that to me was really what was needed, and we all come well equipped. Anybody and everybody can do it for themselves, and that was what was talking to me. But slowly but surely, the higher selves are indicating that I need to get to this next book, and some of the change that went on for me last week is opening the door for time.
That makes so much
so
sense.
that I can get that book written.
And I'll tell you what you've done beautifully with book 1 and 2 is you've laid a foundation. And you're educating people in what you can do in your sleep if you wanted to, so that when the third book comes, they're going to be like, how'd you go from this to this? Ooh, there's demons, or whatever they're going to say. And you're going to be like, I didn't. You're interpreting it that way. Let's go back to what I've already done to lay the foundation, so that we're demystifying these things. We're telling you why it is. And I think the scariest thing about the universe or non-physical or the spirit realm is people are trained to be scared of it once they hit the earth plane, meaning adults make kids afraid of it. But what you do is you come in and you go, there's a foundation, there's a structure, there's a protocol. You already know what it is. Let me remind you of what it is, so that when you have these experiences, you can neutralize it quickly based on these other two foundations. Now go off and create happiness.
Wow. Please, your website again is eddieconnor.com.
Yes.
I mean, you experience it firsthand. He just doesn't stop talking. He reminds me of me, actually, because I do it differently. I'm not really a predictor. I love that. I don't get that from the higher selves. They give me other information, and I can't stop talking. It's just bip, 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 bip. But I just loved it. You just, one thing after another, one thing after another. eddieconnor.com.
Yeah.
Remember, everybody. Now, did you say you're redoing your...
The website, we're redoing the shopping cart.
Okay, but you have an email.
Yes.
What is it, something appointments?
Yes, it's eddieappointments@gmail.com.
eddieappointments@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did you get it, guys? eddieappointments@gmail.com. This guy is well known. He was in a magazine on mediums and the best mediums
and
psychics in LA. He was featured.
Yeah, which is so funny because I'm a medium psychic. And somehow I got lumped in with it. But everything happens the way it's supposed to.
Well, you're fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever term, and I'm sure you understand this. Sometimes when you use a term like psychic, it creates a box because everybody is going to interpret it like they interpret.
Yeah.
I don't call myself a psychic. There's certainly psychic
energy
that I use. I don't call myself a medium, but I can tune into other souls and often do. So, because I don't really want to fall into the boxes, and so I don't really say much about it.
Good. I totally understand that.
Yeah.
That way they're not holding their mind space right here during the session. They're holding their heart space like this so that they can be receivers.
So if I use the term psychic, they'd expect me to predict the future. And once in a while, the higher selves will give me a little bit of future stuff, but nothing like what you did. And so then they might walk away thinking, oh, what kind of psychic was that? You know?
Yeah. They'll miss the whole thing.
Yeah. So that's why I don't. And I think people are getting pretty educated now. I do find more and more people are open to different directions and different elements to that. But when I first started, it was more narrow. So I'm excited. It's expanded.
That's good. Yeah, I started in North Carolina. So, I mean...
Oh.
It is literally the Bible buckle of the Bible belt. So it was...
Joan Culpepper is from North Carolina, too. There's something special. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like...
Something special about that state. I went to college there. I went to Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I lived in Chapel Hill
Oh.
for a year until I broke up with my, no. But I lived in Chapel Hill, but Raleigh-Durham Chapel Hill is a huge vortex.
Yes.
Asheville, North Carolina, huge energy vortex. And the Peruvians call the Rocky Mountains the Apus, the male energy that solidifies Pachamama or Mother Earth. And it's just riddled with little gnomes and pans and fairies and angels. It's
Wow.
ridiculously wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very
When were
interesting.
you in Chapel Hill? If our paths have crossed, I was working at the Gap. Did you ever shop in the Gap?
I don't even remember. It's
At
too
South
long
Square
ago.
Mall.
I don't remember.
In Chapel Hill, I worked in the mall in Chapel Hill,
Oh, okay.
and the Ivies and the dealers there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's nuts.
I know. It's not. We
One
were
degree of
we were,
separation.
yes, really. We were supposed to meet even. Okay. Now let's see time wise. Okay, we have 5 minutes.
Wow.
Do you want to share anything more with the audience? I do want to just remind the audience or the viewers that this is my last show. I want to thank them for being so much. Thank you, viewers, for being on this journey with me, and I will be back. You heard it first, right here. I will be back in some fashion. I'm not sure how, and maybe something with Eddie. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be fun.
Anyway, I really want to thank you. And these shows are on TradioV.com. If you've missed the live show or you want to see a show that you've missed from the past, it's archived there. It's also on my YouTube channel, which is Higher Self Voice. They may not all be on YouTube because I've just recently lost my assistant, but you can find them on TradioV, and you can find them. You can find them on TradioV. The last couple, this
Okay.
one and the one before, I'm not going to have on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
But
You will.
hopefully I
You
will.
will have them on YouTube.
I will. I
see
will.
it as clear as a bell.
Yeah, yeah. My wonderful son is helping me with all that, but
Oh.
he's already working full time, and so he has a little bit limited,
Oh,
limited time to help me. But he's making time. He's just great. Anyway,
that's good.
I'm never good with figuring out time, but anyway, Eddie, it was so great.
And thank you. I had fun.
Thank you so much, and I'm still absorbing all you said. I'm going to have to go back and listen to it myself and take
Good.
notes. I was looking for a pen at one point, and then I thought,
Oh.
I don't have one. I wanted, but I could not have kept up with you.
Yeah, it's weird how it works. It just, well, as you know, it's just sort of like the download, and you got to say it quick or
You've
it
got-
goes away.
Exactly. That's what I tell people. So when I do a session, I talk for an hour. You probably do too, an hour and 20 minutes, and I tell them, don't say anything unless it's really urgent.
Yes.
Because otherwise you have to get back into the frequency, I call it, but
Yeah.
it's like a stream where you're just getting
Yeah.
just a ton of
Well,
stuff.
and I want to thank you too, because with choices, you taught me how to start to neutralize things and gave me a different perspective of non-physical in a way that I hadn't heard it before. So thank you for that.
Oh, well, you're so welcome. And I want to thank you too, because for the viewers, Eddie bought a few of my books and he's passed a few out, and really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I only give it to really good people. Wouldn't it be awful if I just gave them the vampires? I went and go see Janet, get out of my life. Yeah, so I just give it to the really good people that do the work.
Well, it's important to take this stuff on as a lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah, because you and I can't do it for everybody. We're our own directing identities. We want to be an active participant in our own lives and
Yeah.
really lead the way and help ourselves. So,
Yay, look at
Yay.
us go.
yeah. So with that, I guess I'm going to say a heartfelt goodbye, and I'm just really sad, but I know it's not forever. So I will let you guys know when I'm done. And meanwhile, have a wonderful next month or 2 or 3 until I connect with you again. All right, bye-bye.
You are watching TradioV, Radio and TV.